What's going on, guys? KayGee here from the football capital, and guess what? Another A-League show, and we're joined by the boys. Welcome back, Borce. Borce, welcome back, mate.
Thanks, Kev. Back again. Not a great week, but we move.
We do move on. Lachie, welcome back, mate. We're going to touch on the Central Coast Mariners, but just a shout out on that nice Tottenham kit you got there. So might have to EPL chat at some point. And we welcome Val from the Stoppage podcast. Val, welcome, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Boys, it was a big week in A-League football. There was about 8 matches that were played, and it's reshaped the ladder in some senses, and it's looking pretty interesting. But I do want to get straight into some of the big topics, and I think I'm going to kick it off. And I'm Val's probably going to bow his head down like I have, but the Sydney Derby, the Western Sydney Wanderers going down 3-2 to Sydney FC, and in what I thought was a pretty entertaining match. A controversial handball, so we'll touch on that. But Val, just bring you into the conversation, mate, as a Western Sydney Wanderers fan. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was an interesting game. Like you said, it was very controversial as well with that handball. But I thought we played all right. I thought we played decent. There were times where obviously the boys made a few mistakes. But look, honestly, I think it's just building process now that Rudin has the team. I think it's just gradual building for the boys. But look, other than that, I think it's a much better performance than the other derby that we had at Bankwest or Combank.
Yeah, and look, funny you say that. We probably played not as well in the last 2 derbies where we picked up a draw and a win, and then the one derby where we turned it up a little bit, we don't get the result. So a little bit frustrating. But look, let's not hide from it, right? The handball, or let's say it wasn't a handball, but let's talk about the handball. Let's talk about the VAR involvement. Let's go neutral opinion. Lachie, what do you think?
Oh, look, there's actually a couple handball instances this weekend. It was one of the MacArthur Glory game as well, which was sort of similar. Honestly, like looking at it, I don't have like a strong opinion on it. I think I put up a poll on my Instagram story, and majority of people said yes. To me, the only thing it probably is a penalty, but the only thing that I think is maybe playing into what's not a penalty is maybe how close the player is to, he sort of just kicks it straight up and it just makes contact with the hand. And sometimes when it's that close like that, when it's just directly into the hand, it's not given a handball. So it's not one of those ones where I'm like, yes, that like had to be a handball. Like I can see why they went no handball. So I'm sort of okay with either decision. Yeah.
See, he's sitting on the fence a little bit on this one. Borce, come on, tell us.
You got to give it. You got to give the pen. I mean, if you look at that, and we'll talk about it with the Perth game, I think the Perth game, I think that wasn't a pen, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I know Lachie talks about how close the player is. I think there was a bigger gap in the derby, and the ball was a bit slower than it was in the Perth game. So it was kicked at a slower pace, and it was a bit far. I think he could have done better to get his body out of the way. And I get the referee saying that he had his hands down by his side, but you're still making yourself bigger. You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion,
it's all that.
In my opinion, yeah, 100% it should have been given. Maybe because it was at Sydney FC's home ground, maybe that had something to play with it. But was it even checked though? Was it checked?
Yeah,
they looked at it
and let it go.
Yeah, and I don't know. They got to be consistent throughout the the games. But I just think, the way that 3-1, 3-2, and then to give him a pen, I think, I don't know, would have been controversial. But
it would have been a better last 10, 15 minutes or the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
But look, you're right. I guess there's part of what everyone said. I'll tell you, when I was watching the game, I was yelling like that's a handball. Like first reaction handball. Taking into consideration distance is one thing, but also what Borce said is the pace of the ball, and the reaction of the player to. Whilst his hands were by his side, I think there could have been a better attempt to try and get out of the way. But look, there's no consistency. Refereeing decisions. Just the fact you can just say VAR and people will just laugh.
But I don't think that VAR. I don't think VAR is the problem. It's the ruling.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
100%.
I think
100%.
VAR's great for the game, but they just got to get whatever the rulings are. They got to get them correct because it can't be for one game. Look at, for example, the Melbourne City Mariners game, free kick outside the box, but no, we just give you a pen, and then the penalty at the end is not given at all. Like things like that where it's clear cut.
Yeah,
it's either they're favoring the bigger teams or it's we determine where the result goes, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, the idea behind it is sort of that there has to be enough evidence there to overturn the decision, which I think went in Sydney FC's favour, because had he pointed to the spot, I think there wouldn't have been enough there to overturn it and say not a penalty. So They've gone with the referee. He's made a decision, and look, he's a pretty good referee. I can't remember his name. I know he's the Iranian referee. He had a good game. There wasn't really much in there that you could sort of argue was wrong. And unfortunately for myself and Val, like, we find ourselves on the end of 3-2, and not only end of 3-2, but the way the ladder looks, we're second last. Like,
welcome to my world. Welcome.
We're neighbours. We're neighbours.
Neighbours. The two feeder clubs over the last couple of seasons, rock bottom.
And I think that's probably the most frustrating part about the loss, right? Because a win took us within, I think, 2 or a point of Sydney FC.
2 points, yeah.
Yeah, and that game obviously takes them back into 5th, but Wellington's right behind them. Them and Adelaide by 1 point with 3 games in hand. So, and there was an interesting result the other day with Wellington, right? Wellington, I'm just checking here, but they went down
6-0.
To Melbourne City, right? And all the hard work they did, and we spoke about this last week, Lockie, around goal difference of certain teams, including the Mariners. But Wellington did a good job getting the 3-0 win last week and thought, okay, that would help them, and then they copped 6.
Yeah, it's hurting them at the moment, Wellington Phoenix, and it seems like every week, because I remember, I think it was only a couple of weeks ago, they lost 4-0 to Jets. So it's been weird lately where they'll win 3-0, then they'll lose 4-0, they'll win 3-0 again, and then they'll lose 6-0, and it's that inconsistency's hurting them. And it's funny, on their day, like I think before this round, Wellington was sitting 4th, I think. And I mean, that's just goes to show how chaotic the ladder is at the moment, that if you lose a game or two, you drop like 4 or 5 spaces. Wellington Phoenix, I didn't think were all that poor in that game. Like in the first half, I think it was only 1-0 in the first half, and they created some decent chances, Phoenix. But I mean, just on Melbourne City, like coming out of that game, I think this result, especially, I mean, I know we'll talk about like the Western Mariners game and how that ended a draw, but when you look at City and then picking up 3 points, I mean, that's really a big deal, because they're starting to about to break away Melbourne City. The interesting thing, though, when it comes to Melbourne City will they be able to, finish off the job when they come back from playing in the Champions League? Because I know shortly they go away to Asia to play in the Champions League for a couple of weeks. So that'll be interesting for them and Sydney FC, whether that really does kill their rhythm and will that cost them. But look, these big wins that City are getting, like it's helping them to maintain that top position and it's quite possibly another premiership. And honestly, they're title favourites for me. I know we've been talking about West United a lot, but Melbourne City, that front three, I mean, Matt Leckie, McLaren, Naboot, and then to bring on Marco Tilio. Yeah. I mean, it's just... It's a step above.
Yeah, and it's clicking right at the right time for him, because at the start of the season, more like, Leckie's not really firing, and then McLaren was hit and miss in the games, and the question was, can all of them players, when they're on the field at the same time, can they all link up and can it work out for him? And right at the business end of the season, it looks like it is. So it's going to be interesting to see how many about how many games left. Is it 10? Not 10.
Some teams.
You're right. Yeah, for some
5, 7. Yeah. But some,
let's not forget, they've got games in hand as well.
That's right. Them games in hand as well. Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see what Melbourne do.
Right? City's banked the points. That's the thing. Like, so they've played 2 more games than Western United, but they've actually banked the points. They've got those 2 wins.
So now the pressure's on Western United.
Correct. Yeah, and that's the hard part, right? With games in hand. And I keep going back to Wellington, but Wellington, had they not suffered that loss, they jump into, believe it or not, if they had won on the weekend, they would have been third, with 3 games in hand and four games in hand against City. So like, they technically would have been 1 point behind City if they won all 4 of those games. But and that's how the ladder's shaping up, right? It's really interesting, but a big result for Melbourne City, and they do. And to Lockie's point, I think that they have the pedigree as well. Like, they have the pedigree to go all the way. The banking points, pressure going to be on Western United, so you don't quite, they haven't been in this position before. Whereas City are just used to, getting the result, going to the final series, putting in big performances. Time will tell what will happen, but just quickly, if it was between City and Western, who do you guys back to finish premiers with say 6 or 7 games to go?
I'll say City. I think City got the
I'll
quality.
stick with City.
I think City got the quality, and we've seen what Western United's game this week. If they concede like that, or they concede chances to teams like City, and I don't know if they play each other. Do they have to play each other one more time, or have they already played twice? Yeah. Okay, so that game's out of the way. But I just think City are a lot more clinical, and obviously keeping their clean sheet. Clean sheet is, it's another thing that's going to win you the league, not just the goals.
At the same time, you've got Western United have 2 games now that are, you could say, easy games. One against Wellington, one against Perth Glory. So those are must-win games for them. Yeah,
and in saying the whole,
it depends if Wellington rocks up, right? Yeah. It depends.
That's right. Yeah,
unless they rock up. Yeah,
but they got a good goal record as well in terms of clean sheets. They haven't conceded many goals. A lot of clean sheets, especially at the start of the season. So if they can hold up in the back, I think man, they'll go close. It might go down to the wire.
Well, look, if it goes down to the wire, let's cover Western United, because they did pick up a 2-2 draw with your boys, Lockie. Unlucky not to get the win yourselves, right? Jason Cummings, right? Yeah. Almost had a hat-trick, but it wasn't quite meant to be, and that they would have taken an extra point away from Western, but what it would have done for you guys would have been a lot more important.
Absolutely. And look, I mean, overall, again, another 6 consecutive games without a defeat is the positive for Mariners fans coming out of this one. But yeah, look, to go down there and to put a solid performance against Western United, like, if you look at the stats, it was pretty even. To match them, one of the best teams in the competition, I have to be happy with my side's performance. And it is frustrating at the end of the day, not coming away with 3 points. I mean, drama at the end with a penalty. Leo Lacroix grabbing the throat of Marco Arena has to be a penalty. And Cummings with a chance to get his first hat-trick down under. Jamie Young with a big save. So look, that hurt because I thought it was going to go on for sure. I was like, he'd been on fire all day, and it's disappointing not to. And that would have been massive, because I think I said it last week that this game was the hardest one left for the Mariners. I think we play West United again at home, but apart from that, it's bottom 6 sides here on out for the Mariners. So 3 points would have been monumental. So look, the season's still alive for the Mariners, but yeah, man. I mean, more than anything, just happy that we matched it with a top team, which makes me confident if Mariners do snag a final spot, that we could potentially go all the way with one of those top teams in an elimination final or a semi-final. So yeah, man.
It feels like the Mariners give us this 90 plus minute excitement every single week. There's always something, like, if you tune off to a Mariners game after the 90th minute, you've missed out. How many games, whether it's
in Adelaide, right?
Whether Mariners concede at the end, or miss a penalty, or they get a penalty, or there's late drama like the City game, it always just happens to be the Mariners. But I think it was a good game by the Mariners too. Especially, I know they got it was a 1-0. It was 1-0 in the first half. But to get the goal back to equalise, I think they did well, especially in the build-up play. And it looked like for a period of time, Western United were kind of out of ideas. And then that penalty at the end, even the commentators were saying, "Oh yeah, Jamie Young, he's saved this many and he's done that." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And for the hat trick as well, he didn't hit it well. But Yeah, look, good save. You're always hoping that the keeper gets his has off 1 foot off the line, so he gets retaken.
Yeah.
One of them. The penalty against Fornaroli against the Mariners, I'm like, please, the keeper's off his line, please. And nah, forget it. But yeah, good.
They're rating him one of the best keepers in the comp. That's what they're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Jamie Young.
I'd back that though. I'd back that.
Yeah.
After all his time at Brisbane, and I think we touched on it last episode. Like he was one of the highlight signings for Western United this season. Probably not as much as some of the others, but like when you have a goalkeeper like that in goals, you just he'll win you points throughout the season,
especially for his age as well.
And so, he's no slouch. I don't know why Brisbane let him go. I don't know if anyone has any info on it, but to let a keeper like that go in an A-League competition where you're a good goalkeeper, I just go back to Ante Kovic back in the day for Sydney Wanderers. It was just you just knew you had this presence in goals, and even more recently, Mark Birighitti, right? Like he's a top goalkeeper. I think
it's down to them two.
Probably,
them two as the best keepers in the comp. So
yeah, I know Glover's doing well, like at City, and look, Margush is finding his feet still. He's not consistent, but like he's doing better. But there's a lot of goalkeepers that. I think Borce, your team has 15 goalkeepers, doesn't it? I do they still have Tando Valafi on the books?
Probably. Tando Valafi is back again. He's got more clubs than Tiger Woods when it comes to the A-League, and he's still here some reason. He's still here. Even touching on Western United, Topper Stanley. Well, he's made the most now appearances in the A-League. He's been around 5-6 A-League clubs. These guys, bro.
I think the only
loyalty
that's had more A-League clubs than him is Liam Reddy.
And here, where is he?
Anyone that's had more.
So we got the rejects from every. Just come back. Like, how about give us some of the good players? Give me Jamie McLaren back. Give me players like that.
Has Brad Jones played a game for you guys?
Yeah. He played majority of the first couple of games of the season. Then I think he got injured. Then he came back, played another game or two, and then he's out again. And then we've just got all these other keepers filling in, and I think
your club is like the. It's like if another club doesn't need a player, it's like, all right, we'll just hand them over to Perth Glory.
Well, that's what it used to be with Perth and Wanderers. We used to just trade players. All right, you give us one, we'll give you another player back. So it used to be a feeder club. But
it's like Tarzos, like they're doing.
Look,
footy Tarzos.
We've got two of him. Let's make a trade. It's it is. Not one of these. But then we give you the rare ones, and then you give us like the ones that everyone's got doubles of, triples. We give all our players to Melbourne Victory, and we've got no one coming in. They sold us the dream with Sturridge, and he's the biggest fraud signing in A-League history. And he hasn't even played half an hour.
I don't think he wants to be here.
But go look at the merchandise shop on the Glory website. They got Daniel Sturridge t-shirts. They might be linked. This Perth and Man United might be linked, bro. Just the marketing teams, they might be the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
They might be the same marketing teams.
FC.
Yeah, Social Media FC. Daniel Sturridge now they got no football to talk about, so they talk about his haircuts and who's his barber. Anyways.
Speaking of Daniel Sturridge, Perth Glory, and the rejects over there, they played a match on the weekend. They take a 2-0 lead.
You know what else we took by the end of the game?
What happened?
This is what we took by the end of the game. This is what we took.
Yeah.
Look, man, it's
what happened, Borch? What happened?
I don't know, man. I think it's just the story of the season. Half of it feels like to me every week I go to watch Perth, and it just feels like it's another starting 11. It's like another team. Every week I'm watching another team. There's different combinations up front, different combinations out from the back. In the midfield, we've got players out, and it just feels like we're just rolling with the motion. You know what I mean? It's like, obviously, you think it's going to be a promising start to the season for Perth with the players they got in. Fornaroli, Andy Keogh, and the guys up front. You think you're going to get goals, but I think besides Fornaroli, what's he on? 8 goals this season? Is he on or a bit more? The next player after him is like 2, and that's where the problem is. And then, and to be fair, we don't concede a lot. we don't concede. Like before this game, right? I think we were the third best defensive team. They were just up front, and it's just the last minute. We lose concentration, the final minutes, like so many games, and we don't finish our chances. Against the Mariners, it should have been, maybe in the first 20 minutes, should have been 2-3-0 with some of the, and plus the penalty towards the end. You could have killed the game off then, but no, they didn't. And then Mariners had probably the better chances at the end to snatch the win. And it's happened throughout, the same things happened throughout the whole season. I know Robbie last week was saying that he doesn't understand why they got rid of Richard Garcia. They should have got rid of him at the end of last season.
I was about to ask you about that because you went on an episode last week. Do you feel like that was the right move?
Yeah, that should have been done at the start of the season, because even now, look, I'll give him a benefit of the doubt because we're getting rid of players, quality players, and we're not, like, our scouting department it's like they're non-existent. Like, how are you getting rid of like Agostino and who was the other one? He's at Melbourne as well. Economides. You got like these players. Even Brimmer, like the year before Brimmer, he's at Melbourne Victory, and like all these players, Castro, you didn't replace him, and then we're just hoping on these other players to come in and then do something. And it's like, all right, Garcia, his system sometimes to me just didn't make sense. You're playing with a 3 in the back, but then your left wing doesn't want to come back and defend. You're leaving spaces there. And you're not sorting that out, like game management as well. No clue. So I think that it had to be done. I know what Robbie was saying.
Is that the writing on the wall for the boys?
Look, I think it is. I think it is for this season. But at the same time, I see some of the younger players come in, and I see potential in some of the boys. Like the way they take on players, it looks like they're not afraid. But it's just the quality is just not there yet compared when you're versing some of the other more experienced players in the league. And maybe they don't got that mentality, that winning mentality towards the end of the game, to be a bit more focused. Like you look at the Phoenix game last minute. All you got to do is just hold your head, stay composed, and we concede again on a set piece where we didn't need to. But look, I think over time the boys will get better. There is some good young players in that team, and maybe next season if they get in a bit more experienced players, we could find ourselves in that top 6. But it's going to be a big process now to rebuild that team.
I think as well, I think the young players probably cost them Perth Glory that loss on the weekend as well. I mean, like 2-0 up, like fantastic free kick by Collie, like less than a minute into the game. And then it was Trent Ostler with his first A-League goal. I think had they been playing, Keogh, Fornaroli up front and had a bit more of an experienced lineup, they probably would have gone on to won that game. But you could just tell they started to fall apart. And I mean, just on MacArthur, I mean, like Ulysses De Vere, I mean, just tore him apart. I think it was that third goal where he just played like an insane through ball.
Yeah.
And I mean, against these Perth Glory kids against class players like De Vere.
And that's the thing. Like some of the younger, if you had more experienced players in that squad. I know Brandon O'Neill's out injured, so our midfield's kind of a bit out of place now. But they were with 10 men. It was 2-2. They were 10 men, and that's when De Vere played that ball through. Amazing through ball. But you have a bit more experienced players in the midfield, you close them channels off. And I do agree the younger players kind of let us down, but I don't think they have the legs to push on the whole 90 minutes. I think when it comes to even when 50-50 challenges, it just feels like the physicality with some of the younger players, it's not there at the moment. So, but what can you do? I look over onto the bench.
Hey, we complain about not giving minutes to younger players. Like what an experience! Although it's not the ideal situation, but what an experience, right?
Yeah, 100%. And this is what we want to see in the league. And look at the last couple of weeks with all the COVID cases and players out and all that sort of stuff. Newcastle last week. I think Brisbane this week. We'll touch on that as well. The younger players are stepping up. Even for Sydney FC, the goalkeeper, Adam, which I coached a couple of years ago, he gets his first start. And he although he was a bit shaky in the first half, he made that save in that second half. I think maybe to even make it 2-2 or 3-2, he pulled off that save. So it's like it's good to see the youngsters coming through. Because how many we always complain, you got this marquee, he's 45 years old, but instead of putting a young player in, now we can't. When young players do play, we can't complain. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not complaining about the youngsters that are playing. It's just a mixture of them. I don't think we have enough experienced players. And plus we got Ruben Zakovic on
the lineup right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting
the balance, getting the
that
balance
mix
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, credit to MacArthur, they ended up getting the job done. Bit of a yo-yo every week.
I missed the fourth goal.
So they won or they lost. Yeah.
I missed the fourth goal. I thought it was 90 something minute. I'm like, get my son ready to go to bed. And you know what? I've looked at the score later. I'm like, wait, what? 4-2. Get out of here, bro. Another one. He's missed it.
Definitely another one. But look, it was, I think, Borce, keep the spoon. Just hold on to it. I don't think it's, I think the Wanderers aren't too far.
I might need to pass it over to you guys in the relay. I might have to pass it over.
Hand it over.
Which way? Oh, this way.
Hand it over. Look, one of the surprise, because you just touched on Brisbane Roar and their youth, big result for them, 2-0 against Newcastle. I
wasn't expecting that.
Anyone, maybe somebody picked it last week. I don't know. I didn't think so. I thought we all went Newcastle.
Yeah, I think everyone went Newcastle.
Really surprising result. I mean, it was still there for them to try and get something out of it, but a late goal to Ivanovic, sealed the deal. But is everyone with me? Like, are we surprised about this result? Like, what do we think?
Yeah, go on, Lucky.
I was just going to say, I think a big factor Newcastle were this is probably one of their worst games of the season. And it was probably because they were without Daniel Pena. And Daniel Pena, we've talked about him so much this season, but this was one of the first games that he missed. And it showed so much. He's that good. He's so influential to their attacking play. And it cost them. It's that's why they didn't get on the score sheet this game. Olivia Bamal was missing for them too. And Brisbane just punished them. And Henry Hoare, just a quick word on Henry Hoare, I think grabbed his 5th goal this season.
What a goal.
He's so exciting to watch. And it was a really well-taken goal, just the way he kept going, looking for that pocket of space, got the shot away, great finish. And then Luka Ivanovic, former Sydney FC striker, super strike from him as well. So credit to Raw.
Yeah, the young.
I just want to ask a question to all of you. Do you guys think that this is the most inconsistent season in the A-League for clubs?
I was going to ask a different question along the same line, which was: is this the closest A-League season you've had? Which is sort of the same, but inconsistent. I agree, it is inconsistent because I think
one week you win, 1 week you lose. It's just
and it's not just that, but we're really, really other than Daniel Sturridge, we haven't really had that many marquee players join the league, and I think it's balanced out a lot of the squads. Those who had youth have used them. Those who didn't are struggling, or they're getting them through the door very late in the season. But it is one of the tightest leagues because even now the top 2 race isn't over. Everyone's got games in hand, so you don't know where they're going to land. Borce is about to hand us a wooden spoon. It's just, it's exciting, but at the same time, it's never been this indecisive with so little games to go towards the end of the season. So for me, I agree with you, Val. It is, it's just one of those seasons, man. We can't really pick it. And even though we're saying we're performing well, as with Sydney Wanderers more recently, we sit second last. Big fan of what Central Coast has been doing, and still they sit in I think 9th at the moment.
I get shocked when I look at the ladder and Mariners are down the bottom, out of the top 6. I'm like, every week I watch them, it's either they're winning, they're performing, there's goals, but how are they 9th or when it 8th or whatever? You know what I mean? So I think it is one of them seasons where it is close. I don't think so much it's close with the quality in terms of the top teams and the bottom teams. I think, obviously suspensions and COVID has a big part to play in that with players missing. Look at Perth, we went, was it 9 games away from home? I don't know what that does to the players. One argument could be, the players are together for 9 weeks or whatever it might be, so you look like them. There should be a tighter unit, but you don't know family. You got O'Neill he was having a kid, So he was away from the squad, and then this Sturridge can't make it because the flights are too long for him and all that sort of stuff. So you got all that stuff happening. So
He didn't have a barber in Sydney. That was the problem.
that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. But yeah, even with this the Newcastle game, I think the red card didn't help as well. Because I think after the red card, that's when they got their goals. But I got to, like we were saying, give credit to the young boys. And I think we spoke about it at I think it was the first episode where we said Brisbane lost a lot of players and they're going to be playing some of these youth players, but maybe that's the project they're going for. They might take this season as a bit of a gamble in terms of if we come last or if we come, that bottom part of the table, at least we gave it that push with the young players, give them a bit more experience. Because who was that? Luka? He scored the last goal. Ivanovic.
Ivanovic.
Sydney FC would have loved to have him this season, especially with their strikers not firing. With Bobo, like why? Yeah. That's the thing. Why are you keeping Bobo or bringing him back, but not keeping this young kid in? And look at it, and the way he's going, he's performing well. So I think these young players, they're gonna have a promising future.
Yeah, it's. Mate, honestly, I can't predict Brisbane Raw week in, week out. You just don't know what Brisbane Raw is rocking up. Yeah. You don't know what's happening. It's just one of those things with Brisbane Raw. I honestly thought Newcastle was going to have their number, but it wasn't meant to be. The last sort of match of the round was the Adelaide United Melbourne Victory game. Now, I didn't get to watch this one because it was on simultaneously with the Derby. And I know Robbie blew up a little bit in our chat the other day, so unfortunately we didn't have him for today's episode. But 1-0, an early goal to Melbourne, and then they shut up shop, and that's it. The game didn't progress. And Adelaide, man, they're the 85-plus minute team, and they couldn't get it done. Like I don't know, Lachie, Val, thoughts?
Yeah, I know we talk about a lot about, Wellington Phoenix and Perth Glory being the teams that really struggled this season, obviously due to COVID and circumstances and stuff. And then, hopefully those teams go back to normalcy next season. But I was thinking about it before, and I think on the field, Adelaide United have been so unsettled in terms, they brought in Nick Ansell. He picked up a season-ending injury. They've had, injuries to Jakobsen, Timotheu. I mean, all their defenders, Jacob Tratt's been out, Lockie Barr's out. Craig Goodwin I think missed a couple of games earlier too. And as well during the mid-season transfer window, they were probably the busiest. I mean, they lost Haller and they lost Stefan Mork. It's quite unusual to see so many changes through a team, and I think that's been hurting Adelaide United at the moment. And yeah, as you said, KayGee, about Adelaide United, you'd expect them, especially in a big game like this. And what I was watching the replay, and the atmosphere looked epic there. Great turnout from the fans. You'd think Adelaide United would come up big with at least an equaliser. But credit to Melbourne Victory. And just on Melbourne Victory, I know we're talking about Western United and Melbourne City being those two teams breaking away, and I think they absolutely are. I'm absolutely betting on, Melbourne Victory to finish third this season. I think when you look at all those other mid-table sides, they've got games in hand. Victory. They don't have to worry about Champions League anymore. They're not going to be involved with that. I think they'll lock away third place. And look, 3 points from here to the end of the season, 3 points for all those sides contesting for top six are so crucial. And that's why, to pick up a gritty 1-0 win away to Adelaide United, another top six rival, that's massive. And that could lock in third place for Victory. So, yeah.
That's the biggest point, right? Regardless of what the margin is, you still pick up those 3 points. And
it's all that matters.
Yeah, and I've said this, coaching at times. I've probably said it to Borce, mate. I don't care what part of your body it comes off. If it's legal and it crosses the line, it's a goal, right?
Goal,
so, and you only need one sometimes to get the win. So, it's really important that you grind. You have to grind and pick up those wins. And we've touched on all the other games, but impressive. Like from Melbourne City, they were a bit jittery. They pick up a big 6-0 win, and then you go. And even though again we talk about Central Coast and where they're on the ladder, but Western United pick up a point, right? Just enough to continue that chase. And with Victory, they pick up the win against rivals, mind you. So it's one of, I guess you'd consider it a derby for these two teams. Still a massive, 3 points. And again, I'm probably more upset for Adelaide because I just know that 85 minutes in they're good for something. And I think the last couple of weeks they missed, is it Hiroshi? Hiro, they call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were missing him for a while, and he came back, but what wasn't good enough to pick up the win. It shaped up the ladder pretty interestingly, boys. But in the interest of time, we will jump into some of our predictions for next week, or this coming week, I should say. Some pretty big fixtures in terms of the actual ladder. Central Coast versus Wellington, teams that have games in hand. Lachie, thoughts? Are you guys going to be strong enough at home to take this one? That's actually tomorrow night, Tuesday.
7 o'clock,
Looking forward to it. It's going to be tough because, I'm just talking about Wellington Phoenix. They did lose 6-0, but they will absolutely want to be bouncing back for this game. I think, I want to win this game, especially more so because Mariners are actually playing Wellington in New Zealand. That's one of the games they're playing in New Zealand. So, and I don't rate my hopes in that game. I mean, they're going to have a packed Wellington Stadium there. So I'm still backing my Mariners for the win, man. I think we've been playing well lately. I'm going to go 2-1.
Val, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Mariners are going to clinch that. I'm saying 2-0.
2-0, Borce?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 4-2 Mariners.
Yeah,
I think
goals
yeah.
galore around here. I'm going to take 3-1 the Mariners. I think there's going to be this is the push. Well, you can't leave it any later. The push's got to start now. So that'll be an interesting one. Melbourne City versus Sydney FC on Wednesday night. Big one here, boys. I'm going to kickstart. I'm going to say City take the points here. Lachie?
The two teams involved in the Champions League. They'll both desperately want to win it, but it has to be City. I mean, they're just playing too well at the moment. I'm going to say 3-1 City.
Val?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with City in this one. I know I'm Wanderers and all that, but I'm sticking with City. Not just because, obviously the momentum coming off the derby with the win against the Wanderers. I don't think nothing's going to change. Like you guys said before, and like we always say, the A-League's inconsistent right now. I don't know who's going to win it. But looking at Melbourne victory performances over the last couple of games, I think, City will clinch. So I'm saying 3-0 City.
City or FC? Who are you going for there?
I took City.
City? Yeah, I'm going to go for them as well. I think 2-0.
No, not City.
Yeah, City 2-0. Perth Glory, Borch, you're at home against Victory.
You know what? We always get a good result against Victory. But
I was going to say,
I don't know if we're going to have our players back, bro. That's the thing. If we do, we might. And we haven't. Have we scored a goal at home since we've returned? I don't think we have. I don't think we have. 0 against Central Coast, 0 against Newcastle, 2-0 lost against Sydney. I don't think we've scored at home. Did we?
Daniel Stein scored against Brisbane 4-1, yeah.
Oh, yeah. 4-1. Yeah, 90th minute, that one.
Yeah.
I probably switched off by then anyways. But I'm going to... Victory have it, yeah. Victory have it. 2-0. Maybe 3.
Val?
I'm going Victory with that one. I'm going to say 3-1 Victory. I reckon Perth will score.
I think if Fornaroli's not starting, Victory 4-0. If Fornaroli's starting, Victory 4-1.
Aussie Bruno, eh? Aussie Bruno.
Okay. I'm gonna say 2-0 Victory. We'll move past that one quickly because it could be anything on Wednesday night. Adelaide Macarthur to start the weekend's games. Adelaide at home to Macarthur. Lachie, thoughts?
Oh man, this is a tough one to call. Look, Adelaide have to win this game. I mean, they're just not getting results at the moment. They'll desperately want to win this game. I'm going to go 2-1 Adelaide.
2-1 Adelaide, Val?
I'm actually going to go 1-1 draw.
1-1, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's not too far from where these teams are currently yo-yoing.
Yeah.
I want to go Macarthur.
Watch.
Macarthur, get 2-1.
2-1. Ooh, tough one, man. Yeah, look,
it's a yo-yo, like you said, bro. You don't know which way these games are going to go.
Because Macarthur went up, they're going to come down.
Because are we going to be
2-1?
Are we going
to
for Robbie? Because are we going to be shocked if Perth beats Victory? You know what I mean? Like you were saying, like Val was saying before, with the the league how it is at the moment. But yeah,
it's unpredictable.
Yeah,
this is interesting now. So we go into the weekend, right? And because we predicted earlier that Central Coast will get the points on Wellington, right? So now Wellington faced Western United at Western United. If they go back-to-back losses, is that what we're thinking? Maybe back to. I'm going to pick Western United in this one.
Yeah, I think it has to be Western United. I do know these two teams have faced twice earlier this season, one in the cup and one in the league, and Wellington won both. So, which will make things a little bit interesting. But Western United 2-1, I reckon.
Val,
I'm gonna take a quote out of Gerard's book. Let's not let this slip for Western United. But I reckon Western United will win that.
Butch.
I think Western United have only won this fixture once, and that was the first season they came in. So that's an interesting one. I'm just looking at the results here. They're head-to-head, so that might continue. Let's go Wellington. Wellington will keep their run.
He's done his research.
I've done my research. I've gone to head-to-head in the last couple of games. The first time they've ever met each other, that's the last time Western United won. So I want to go Wellington Phoenix. Let's go for a 3-2. Let's go for a 3-2.
3-2.
Is that is that going to be played at? Oh yeah, Western United. Yeah, 3-2. Yeah, 3-2.
Home game for them. Western Sydney Wanderers versus Brisbane Roar. Not so much cellar dwellers. Perth's underneath them, but it's 10th versus 11th. Look, it's frustrating because we've been playing well, and I don't know what Brisbane's going to rock up, but I've got to back my boys. I'm going to say 3-1, Western Sydney Wanderers. Lachie?
I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
Fair. Val?
You know what? I think the boys are going to fire up after, obviously, the Derby loss. I think these boys are going to fire up now, and they say we want to win, especially at home. I'm going to say 2-1 to the boys, to Wanderers.
I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 Wanderers.
All right. Here we go. Capping off a big Saturday. That's a big Saturday. Central Coast, Sydney FC. Come on, Central Coast. Come on. Come dog.
Yeah. This is this is gonna be a massive one. I reckon Mariners 3-2.
Yes. Yeah.
Val? I'm going the Mariners win as well. I'm thinking Mariners are going to clinch that. I'll probably say 2-1. 2-1 to the Mariners.
There you go, Borce.
I'll go 1-1. I think it will be a draw.
I'm going Central Coast, and I'm going 3-0.
Here we go.
Love it.
Here we go.
Let's get in
Beautiful.
there, boys. Let's get in there, boys. Get on those barbecue and tomato sauce bottles, boy. Saturday night ends up with the Melbourne Derby.
How many games is there this week? Wow. What's going on?
I'm telling you, because we had the midweek ones. That's the problem. Victory City, 2-2 for me. Lachie?
Dude, I'm super excited for this one because I honestly can't pick it. I'm gonna say 2-2 draw.
He's joining me. Val.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1-0 to Victory.
Oh. 1-0.
Yeah.
1-0 in the Melbourne Derby. Who scores the winner?
I'll give it to Rojas.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to put you on the spot there, Borce.
Do you know what, man? This fixture's been the fixture of the season, both games. Was it 3-2 2-2? The results of the last one.
Right.
There has to be a winner. I'm going to go with Melbourne Victory. 3-1.
All right.
3-1.
Get on the Victory, Borce reckons. Let's wrap it up with your boys, Borce, away to Newcastle.
Do we do the trip, Kev? Do we go up there to sort them out?
to Newcastle. They're going to need a lot of help.
You know what? We got a good record at Newcastle, so I think we're going to get the win, bro. Honestly, I think I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Perth. Every time we play him, for some reason, we get a good result up there.
Val?
I'm going to go 1-1. 1-1 with their boys.
Yeah, I'm going to back that too. I'm going to say 1-1.
I think Newcastle are going to be too strong. 2-0. Newcastle are going to take that one. Sorry, Borce. Keep your spoon for a little while longer.
Keep my spoon. Yeah.
Boys, that was a quick fire 8 games I think that we just went through. that wraps up the show for today. But boys, before we go, just plug your channels and your socials, Lachie.
Yep, Coastwatch Football across all the platforms. A lot of Mariners content, a lot of A-League content, and doing a lot of live watch-alongs on the YouTube channel.
Catch those 60-second wrap-ups as well. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Val, yourself?
Yeah, Stoppage Time podcast. We're actually going in studio to our new studio next week, so we'll be filming from there. Stoppage Time podcast, and it's just worldwide football from across the world. So yeah, stay tuned. There's plenty to come as well for us.
Yeah, I've been seeing the branding of the shop, so looking forward to some maybe some free merch. We'll see.
Definitely.
As always, Borce. Well, thank you and welcome on the A-League segment.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. You don't need to know where to catch me.
You might see him somewhere.
I'll have the OnlyFans linked down the bottom.
Borce is on the Football Capital. He's on the Arsenal Yarn. He's on the other United Red. Who is it? Spice and all the other boys.
The UK ones, all the UK ones.
Borce is all over the place. I think he's better known in the UK than he is here. But boys, again, thank you very much for another episode. I look forward to this weekend's games, and it's bye for now.
See you, boys.